You're listening to You're listening to
JamPow. You guys hear that? That is the sound of silence being broken. It could also be the sound of an idea being made, a hero being saved. But I guess this podcast isn't really about rhymes or what silence being broken sounds like. This is your host, Ali Aziz, and we're talking about superheroes. Any stream of media from TV to movies and everything in between. We'll see how they've expanded in growth in our society over the past few years. You're listening to JamPow, located on the north side, Toronto, Canada. Also located in your ears. So lay back, do what you're doing, and listen up. So, as someone interested in superheroes, I thought I would go into the public and get the general opinion of what they thought about the new age of superheroes. Here it is. Hey guys, we are in the RCC right now. We're about to begin the first Vox Pop and asking people their opinions about superheroes, TV shows, and everything in between. Which one do you like more, Marvel or DC?
That's hard. I really like DC's characters, but I'm gonna have to say Marvel.
Marvel movies, DC characters.
Marvel.
How come?
Actually, I like DC more because they're a bit more dark.
Who's your favorite superhero out right now?
My favorite superhero, I'd have to say Tony Stark and Iron Man, yeah. Just because he's not your typical, valiant hero. He's more human than the rest of them are, and he has more of a personality and more of a character than any other superhero.
Oh, it's so hard. I think in terms of superhero movies, probably either Black Panther or Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite.
Yeah, it'd be Batman. Batman? Yeah. Batman's cool.
Do you have any interesting shows that you've been watching on TV or movies?
Well, Black Panther Infinity Wars was amazing. Definitely my favorites for sure. I'm not sure which one I prefer, but yeah, they're both definitely up there. And a friend of mine's been bugging me to check out Luke Cage.
Infinity War kind of got me hyped up about him again.
In terms of TV shows, DC does have some pretty good shows. Arrow's been going on for God knows however long now. Flash was pretty great. Legends of Tomorrow, I was keeping up with it for the first season. I fell off, but I was really enjoying that. So
Now we are at the end of our Vox Pop. This is JamPow, located on the north side. So, we got some interesting answers here. We got some that surprised me. I kind of expected a little bit more hate on DC, but obviously Marvel is at its top right now. And some that were just expected. So, moving on to the next segment, I decided to bring someone in who knew a little bit about superheroes. Or even a lot. Here's my interview with Michael. Hey guys, welcome to JamPow. And for today we have our guest, Michael. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well, Ollie. How are you?
I'm good myself, And today we will be talking about Spider-Man, the newest one by Marvel and Sony, actually.
Yes, the collaborative effort.
By the way, this podcast will be filled with spoilers. Spoilers all around.
Lots and lots of spoilers.
So, what did you like about the new Spider-Man movie?
I think that for the new Spider-Man movie, what I really liked the most was they didn't retell the fact that Uncle Ben died and, go through his whole origin story again, because you get the fact that Uncle Ben has died. It's sad. With great power comes great responsibility. Literally everyone knows the tagline. We did not need to hear it again. And the TV shows, it throws back to that comic booky kind of feel, right? Because it's the animated stuff. And, you get to see more of the villains, but you don't see them in this whole dark sort of
That's true.
I'm Venom, I'm going to bite your head off kind of thing, right? It's more of it goes back to this fun, campy sort of Spider-Man quips and all that stuff that we kind of know him for, while at the same time looking into his life a bit more and expanding on him, which you don't get as much of a chance of in either the movies or the video games.
That's true. I feel like different medias allow different perspectives of certain characters and stuff. Like we've seen Batman through multiple medias, animated, video games, movies, name it, you got it.
The live TV show in the 60s.
Oh yeah.
Adam West.
It's kind of interesting how, like, as we go through the years, these medias continually provide more content that we can essentially understand the character on a deeper level than just what we see on the screen. What we see from face value, basically.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Getting that whole, in-depth look on the character rather than just the superficial. Although the superficial is important, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that, with all the new Spider-Man movies and with the Spider-Man video games and comics and whatnot, which each Spider-Man, it's a different suit, for instance. I find that very interesting.
And if you want to hear more, check out Michael's podcast. So what's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is coming soon to theaters, and the episode is titled Avengers 4.
Alright guys, that's all we have for today. Hope you enjoyed. And this is JamPow. So my featurette will provide a little perspective of what gets me really interested in creating. And my sound story will give me an opportunity to actually create something by just using sound. Here it is. When I was a kid, I used to play with action figures all day. That's definitely what took the majority of what I remembered. But as a kid, I didn't only see the action figures. I saw what would be considered a VR experience. In my head, I would only picture a certain environment that would erupt around me. So imagine me as a kid walking over to the TV screen and seeing superheroes, people flying through the sky, moving at the speed of light across the screen, created by someone with an imagination, something that can only be crafted in the depths of creativity. Being able to see that come to life, I feel like there's a lot of love that comes from seeing that kind of creation. That's one of the things that really got me into comic books and the wide world they create within the border of the page. So let's enter into my own world and see what I can make.
All units, armed robbery in progress. 31 Lakeshore Road.
And so, we have come to the very end of our podcast. I hope all of you have enjoyed this journey so far. And if you're interested in hearing more, please let me know. And I'd like to give you a big thank you to everyone who's helped me in this journey, from those helping me in the opening, to the intro, and to much more. Thank you to Max and Heather for the advice and tips, because this came out a lot better than I originally thought it would. Alright, thank you for listening, and on to the next time on JamPow.